I'm calling this one an autumn sunrise. And it's Sierra Honey plums. And there's half of a Sierra Honey plum and peach. So that's my sunrise. So that's wonderful. I have some marshmallows in there. So this will come up all nice and stringy. And James will love it. I brought him out some honey just in case. And I'm going to be reviewing this book, Wicked Prey, by John Sandford. And I don't know if James has anything prepared for today.
I got no book
That's fine.
to review or preview.
So I'll just, I haven't quite finished this one, but honestly, I can't imagine it'll get better. So I will finish it, and if it does get better, I'll let you know. But so far, this would have. I can see why he's an NYT BSer. I like the way he includes real life figures. Example, he has fictional characters talking about McCain and Palin. I don't care for the author's writing style, however. Perhaps it's that I can't relate to any of the characters or character, they all seem the same to me. Somehow I read about a teen girl and she seems absolutely 2D like every other character in this book. I can't believe I'm wasting my time on books like this. Even in plague time, I really have more important things to do. So that's my review of that one.
Well, okay. Wicked Prey, and you're saying this guy's written a whole series of Prey titles.
Yeah, I was telling you about that.
Yeah, Berkeley books. Can't stand that name Berkeley now. Can't stand the university generally. And that's coming from a left winger. It's around the time that McCain and Palin were in the news.
So our autumn sunrise pancake is a pumpkin pancake.
Both of them, right? And then trimmed with? You were already talking about that before I came out.
So I've already kind of told you how to make the pumpkin pancake. It's probably easier if you, well, it's way easier to make pumpkin pancake. It's way easier to make pumpkin pancakes than pumpkin waffles.
So yeah, you did have a little trouble today, and it wasn't just because there was a little angel underfoot, right? So our 3.5-pound Chihuahua was
But luckily
in the kitchen.
Your marshmallows worked out. I toasted them perfectly today. Sometimes they're too dark, not today.
Marshmallows in between the 2 layers of waffle.
Not in mine. No marshmallows here.
So that's the last layer of, or the last of the marshmallow.
Yes. I used the last of them up on him today.
The plums are compliments of California. I wonder if it's wouldn't necessarily be the Imperial Valley. Hard to say. Plums are, I think, a little bit hardier than a lot of fruit. It could be grown.
You can grow plums here.
Northern California, exactly right. So it wouldn't be something.
On which species?
Yeah, the Imperial Valley is like a desert, I guess. So it's down south of Palm Springs, kind of southeast, I'd say. So it uses a lot of irrigation. I hope it's drip irrigation by now, you Californians, with all your droughts and things like that. You're in trouble if you don't smarten up. I shouldn't have to tell you that. Global warming's going to affect you guys pretty seriously down in the LA area. I don't know what you guys are thinking. As I've said before, the main problem with global warming is overpopulation. I get that from the United Nations, not some right-wing think tank. Well, the United Nations is right-wing. I mean, UN stands for, unfortunately, United Nazis, or Nazi commies, strictly speaking. That's was the default mode for the so-called freedom or independence movements of the 50s and 60s. From Gamal Abdel Nasser to Kenneth Kaunda to the ANC in South Africa. Nationalists using a communist organization. Gamal Abdel Nasser set that up in Egypt. It's part of I'm going to call him a gang. Took over, got rid of the monarch in Egypt, 52, and then he was the first among equals. Took over even more so in 53. And it was a revelation to me that it was so frank and forthright. His successor, Nasser's successor in Egypt, in his autobiography, talks unashamedly about when he took over, roughly 1970, from Nasser, how when he came to making a decision, he had to run it by his Central Committee and his Politburo. They even adopted the commie terminology. And I'll say to people, these guys were Nazi commies. They're pan-Arab nationalists, Nazis. Or nationalists, Nazi type of nationalists. But they weren't socialists like the Nazis were. They were even worse. Even more totalitarian. They had a commie organization. Amazing. And then they wonder why their economy didn't work. Communist economies don't work. I'm not talking in theory, I'm talking about practice. And it's getting to the point where I have to say, it's statistically significant. There have been enough samples of this kind of, the 5-year plan. We're having a 5-year plan. Even some useful idiots like Nehru. We're doing 5-year plans. An imitation of Stalin. When did he do the first 5-year plan? I think he started in 1929.
This would have been my dad's favorite waffle, I bet.
He liked pumpkins?
He liked plums and peaches.
Yeah, you were mentioning he liked plums. And peaches too. I prefer nectarines to both. It's almost like nectarines are a mixture. But they probably aren't. Anyway, they're kind of smooth like plum. But they're sweet like peaches. Only the weird thing is, they're better than both. Or either, as far as I'm concerned. But,
Little bee wants my waffles.
The bees are still around.
Yeah,
Last bee of summer.
By.
I think he's not going to be long for this world. We're expecting cooler weather, like starting maybe tomorrow. It got down below freezing at Calgary yesterday. It was at least as low as -1.
I wasn't too worried because the prediction, that's the thing.
Hmm.
If it says like cold temperatures like that, but it's overcast, you're fine.
Well, Calgary's a significant way away from here. It's farther north than we are, and it's, as I recall, significantly higher in elevation. So, or at least somewhat. You got to be careful.
So I read the forecast and it said cloudy, and then it said hazy in the morning, and I thought, well,
That should help.
that should help. So I took a gamble.
So, did we hear anything nutty on the radio? I was listening to radio when you were.
I don't know. You were hearing the COVID numbers and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, they actually had a little bit on COVID.
Yeah, James has been complaining that they haven't been.
Well, they didn't have the full numbers in Alberta. They had some coverage on COVID. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
You got that stupid idiot Matt Galloway working on. I think he works out of Toronto.
What is it?
I think so. I promote him to a sideways move. Move him to somewhere south. Oh yeah. How about Antarctica? He can interview the penguins down. He's a smoothie, I gotta say. Like Dina Hinshaw. Smoothie. But as I was mentioning, smooth kind of like what's proverbially goes through a goose. So, I listen to Matt Galloway going along. I say, current review. It's current of poo. He's really smooth, but he smells. Smells of intellectual dishonesty.
Well, what was he talking about?
I'm just talking generally. I can't remember. I turned it off before it got rolling today. Before that current of you know what got rolling.
Boy, eating 2 waffles is tough.
Yeah, that's why I usually
It's a
try
lot
to
of
eat
waffle.
even one, oftentimes. If there are marshmallows involved, it's a little for much for me at one thing. So I just hold on to this stuff for a while. Go back to it later on in the day. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about Salman Rushdie. So he's on What's the Big Idea, otherwise known as Ideas with an L-I. And he's written a book. He's written a fair number of essays and stuff like that. I've got one book of his essays. And in some ways I got to say it's more interesting than his fiction. Anyway, speaking of fiction, that's largely what this is about, like his essays. Fiction and fact and fiction. And so they started it off the discussion yipping and yapping about a president that he refused to name. So the previous president, right? So why are they reluctant to talk about Donald Trump? Oh, sorry, Donald Trump. Like if you don't want to use his name, you just come up with something like the Big Cheeto or whatever. I don't come up with it. Someone's come up with that one.
I don't know why they wouldn't want to use his name if it was clear that who they were talking about.
Yeah, it's like he's anathema. Anyway.
Seems kind of stupid.
So he got talking, and it was evident he thinks that fiction kind of is a kind of like a shortcut to truth, like high fiction or whatever. I've written literature. I don't pretend to use it to. I don't pretend as though like I'm a Gauguin. Like I just feel, and it's got to be expressed because I'm an expressionist. I got this pipeline to the truth. Art is art. It's made up. It's artificial. It doesn't matter if the visual arts, dance, drama.
Unless it's an autumn sunrise waffle.
Unless it's food. That actually gets you somewhere. Man doth not live by bread alone. But he doesn't live by art at all. Unless it's food art. It's a luxury. Now, so he was saying, it's a, that's why dictators hammer down on it, because it's a way of speaking the truth. Nuh-uh. Art, oh yeah, I left out music. The reason why dictators don't like it, arts, particularly things like literature, because you can actually put stuff in there, a program in there. Music, you can say, well, this is about this, but you're going, that isn't what it sounds like. Painting's a problem too for dictators.
Well, unless you have piano music, sometimes you can say it sounds like rain.
I know, but this sounds like revolution.
Well, sometimes.
No, but you've seen those folks who are going, like, here's an abstract art piece, and it's about global warming.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that's news to me. I'm glad it's that way for the artist, because, wow, no. So you've seen and heard that sort of thing. This piece of absolute music, abstract music, or whatever, absolute music is the technical term for it. It's about racism and stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, it just sounded like a bit of wallpaper to me. Okay. This wallpaper is about apartheid. Okay. Yeah, no. This dance piece.
Well, that is funny. When people have dance, they have dances and they say it means something. That is funny, yeah.
Well, they're all fun.
Okay.
The reason why dictators particularly slam down on literature is it's obvious what people are writing about.
Yes.
But the reason why they don't like it is because the arts move people. That's what it's about. It's about feeling. And they could care less. It's like Dulles Allen, not John Foster, said during the Warren Commission, don't believe people read books. That was 1963/64. Don't believe people read books. That was back then. It's gotten worse. They don't care. They don't care if someone writes some technical little treatise on this, that, and the other thing. Non-fiction. Who cares? No one's going to read it. But in places like the Soviet Union, people used to read books. I don't know what they do now. And so they had made heroes
Watch
of...
Rihanna videos. I think that's all anyone's doing.
That's probably what Putin's doing. Hey, Vladdy. Hi. Flunky. Trouble is, not much older than me. I think he's in fairly good health this way. Hey, Vladdy, you should go on a diet, though, you stupid moron.
Oh, is he gaining some weight? He usually takes pretty good care of his vicar.
That's what he claims.
What? No, I've seen pictures.
I know, but I don't know how to do. He'll be out there, you know, like, trotting around, and I got it tired.
Does he now?
Oh, yeah. He's had for quite a while.
Okay.
Too much fattening food there, buddy.
Yep. I'm
Kudo.
already at 18,681 steps.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive. So, see, Vladdy, that's what you should be doing. Instead of sitting around plotting how you're going to bring down the so-called West. You bring down the West. You're confronting China on your own. And they've got a significantly higher population than you. It might be 10 times the population of Russia. Oh, you're plotting and planning. Have you checked out what the eastern part of Russia is like? What the folks there look like? They don't look like typical Russians. They look like the people to the south of them. If you don't treat them right, they're going to be turning their resources over to the People's Republic of China. Or, as it might more accurately be described as, let me see, People's Republic of China. Oh yeah. Emperors and Respublika, that's what Republic is. Thing of the people, kind of like. The people's thing. Well, it's not about the people, it's not the People's Republic. It's not for people, it's for the emperor. And then, so it's res, that's the thing. I'm going to call it intelligentsiae. So that would make it thing of the intelligentsia. Because that's the vanguard of the revolution, the intelligentsia. Of course, they're the ones who are going around saying, we're the intelligent ones. Yeah, okay. Like, I guess for his place, Stalin was. You know, he would have known Georgian and Russian. Although apparently he was, that's why he didn't give too many speeches. As his Russian was kind of embarrassing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, you know, it wasn't like Hitler. Hitler was always giving speeches, yipping and yapping and things like that. And so Stalin was native Georgian. That's not like from Atlanta or Macon.
Did Hitler know a couple languages?
I don't think so.
Really? Austrian?
Well, Austria is German.
It is. It's the same. There's no different.
For a while there, they were calling it the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Okay.
To try and keep the Hungarians on board. So they gave some of these smaller peoples that the Austrians had been squatting on. They gave some of them to the Hungarians.
Oh, okay.
So this was a relatively late kind of development. You know, like the Austro-Hungarian Empire was a weird sort of thing because really for a while there it was shared with Spain, and that's why Belgium, even though it's basically at least the northern part of it is Dutch. It's why it's split off from Holland, because these guys from Spain were who also for a while ruled over Austria, and it's, I guess you'd have to call it colonies, not a good term, but little imperial. I guess we'll call them colony. The Dutch rebelled against them. They were Protestants. But these Spanish, these Habsburg kind of people, they were able to hold on to the southern part of this Dutch area. And so they call it Flemish. And so that's those Dutch people are Catholics. So it's in the northern part of Belgium. The southern part is Walloon, it's French. So but that was weird. There were French people who were being dominated by people who were dominating Spaniards and also Germans down in Austria and other people as well. So the Austro-Hungarian Empire was, Hitler hated it. You know, I think he'd probably used the term mongrels, you know, because they ruled over part of Poland, they ruled over part of well, basically the Czech Republic, Slovakia. They ruled over Slovenia, Serbia, Croatia. You see, those are Slavic. The Hungarians are people who really, technically speaking, they belong in Asia, in Siberia. Yes, it's the easternmost part of Asia, but it's right up in the Arctic. So they came in the Middle Ages, and stomping and plundering and doing all sorts of nasty things to the indigenous people. Did they own? I don't know if they owned part of Romania. Maybe part of it. So the Romanians are basically Latin people. Their survival of the, at least people who speak a language that's derived from Latin. I don't know if they owned that much in that direction. So a lot of the stuff they didn't own for quite a while. It was part of another empire, the Ottoman Empire. Centered out of Constantinople, or as it's misnomered nowadays, Istanbul. I think I'm going to call it Constantinople from now on, because it's settler colonialism. Yeah. I love the way they call it. Have you noticed how it's settler colonialism?
Yeah.
You know why it's settler?
Why?
My suspicion is it's because they got, what the Jews use for their little settlements in the West Bank. They call it settlements, you see, and they're settlers. So it's just so you can, the colonialists here, they're like Jews. You can't call them worse. This amongst folk gauchers, like, oh man, Jews, they're awful. Well, oh, hold on a second, Zionists. So you get Edward Said. Said, I think, means luck, but he's bad luck and bad news for anyone who wants to strut around yipping and yapping his stupid things. So he was going around saying all sorts of stupid things. Got me so upset. I forgot what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Settler colonialist?
Yeah, settler. I mean, he's going around saying that they're the natives in this area, the Palestinians. No, they're not. It's just intellectual dishonesty, and it's not terribly intellectual either. How much time? 2 minutes?
1
minute. I'll just leave it at that. We're going to deal with Edward Said in relative detail, I'm sorry to say. So you can tune in, and you can do weeping and gnashing of teeth, or you can laugh. It's kind of a bitter type of laughter. The guy's he's a big hero to the folk gauchers, and he's just stupid, a spoiled rich kid, a hairstyle. Anyway, that's it.